Hello there, viewers of NozzGamingChannel. This is Caster Quest number 5, and I'm actually going to be having a co-caster with me for this one. His name is TheMads. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Alright. So this is actually going to be a 2-hour-long Zerg vs. Terran game on Antigua Shipyard on the Heart of the Storm beta. It's sent in by xOSjilent, I guess is what it is. Now this will be on faster ×2, just for the sake of conserving time. There really isn't much to say after that. So
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, and we are gonna have the Zerg player spawning up here in the right position. His name is Silent, and up in the top we have Strategy spawning as the Red Terran.
Yeah. So this is a Zerg versus Terran game. Usually the Terran will start out with quick gas into 1-1-1 type of play just to lay off pressure. The Zerg is probably going to try going for a 15 pool, 16 hatch, or vice versa. What do you think is going to be happening in this game, Ed?
Well, I think, we're definitely gonna see a lot of pressure from the Terrans. Since they have, in HOTS, they've gotten a lot of good ways of pressuring their opponent early on. The Widow Mine, the Hellion. A lot of times you'll see a Terran trying to place a Widow Mine at the middle line of the Terran player's natural to try and delay mining for as long as possible. But obviously Hellions with their new Battle Hellion modes are very strong against Zerglings, or are even stronger than normally. So I think we'll see the Terran player be aggressive and the Zerg player just doing his best to try and take as little damage as physically possible.
Yeah.
And we have seen a orbital command for the Terran. Looks like he's going to throw down a factory now. Are we going to see a reactor? If we do, it's most likely going to be either Hellions or Widow Mines. Hellions obviously being the unit that lasts the longest, and if your aggression fails, you can just pull out. You can't really do that with a Widow Mine, because as soon as you unburrow it, your opponent's going to be all over your Widow Mines. He's going to completely destroy them. And we've not seen a reactor. Like, okay, he's putting a tech lab down and a reactor, so let's see what he's going to be going for. He's not taking a command center yet. He has a bunker up at his natural, so we might, because he hasn't expanded, it might be some kind of huge aggression, or he's just delaying his expansion until he's begun to put on the pressure that he wants to do.
Yeah. And now, as he does have the reactor on his factory, and there it is right now, the Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade, so he's going to be going for the more Hellion-based army, and it's going to probably be into the sort of mech or biomech type of play. We do see that he's right now, so he'll be getting that extra gas that you'll need to pull this off. And
yeah. And the Zerg is going for Leia now, and building a few more Zerglings if he wants to be able to deal with any sort of Hellion Marine push, which obviously because of Battle Hellions has gotten a lot stronger, because it's much more difficult for the Speedlings to just surround the Marines without a problem and finish them off, because they have the meaty Battle Hellions and tanking for them. But the Zerg obviously has a contain ability, just like in the Swarm Host, as they had with the Lurker in Brood War. So that really causes a lot of interesting strategies, where some Zerg players might decide to go for building a lot of Swarm Hosts, placing them in front of the Terran natural or third, and just expanding like crazy behind it until the Terran gets a strong enough army to push the Swarm Hosts away.
Yep, and we did see that strategy tried going for a bit of Hellion aggression, but as Silent is starting to increase his roach production, he will be able to thwart that easily. Somehow he's going up to a third by the roaches. Hellions also have a natural for Silent. Let's just take a look. 8 workers killed, not a lot as to what we would normally see, but he should be continuing the Hellion production, and he is doing just that, so we'll probably be seeing some more Hellion run-bys throughout the entirety of the game.
and he's throwing down 3 more factories and 2 armories and an engineering base, so he's definitely going to be going for the mech play. And he started a siege tank production, has 3 siege tanks out right now, and he's still continuing his intelligent production. He's not shown any signs of wanting to take a fort just yet, because he wants to be safe against this roach force. Because if you stretch your army too far out against speed roaches with a mech army, you are in a lot of trouble, because very fast roaches against unsieged siege tanks, that is not an engagement you want to take as a Terran.
That is very true. And now Strategy is just getting up his 3rd and 4th gases. That's probably not the best decision, as that had probably hindered his factory production by quite a bit. But it's good to see that he is getting that now, and he's going to be making Thors as well. We haven't really seen any use of Battle Hellions or Widow Mines yet out of our Terran player. So right now, it's kind of playing as if this was just Wings of Liberty, to be honest. There hasn't been a single new unit.
No, and that's quite surprising. So that's gonna. But the Zerg hasn't built any of the new units either. He's not gone for any sort of swarm host play, even speed hydras, not even that. So it looked like these guys decided, well, let's play some Wings of Liberty. And this Zerg, oddly enough, has not taken his third in the normal location, which I feel is maybe a little bit weird, to be honest. Because obviously the third over here isn't too bad to defend, but there is a lot longer from your natural to your normal third than to this, what would normally be either the 4th or 5th location for a Zerg, depending on spawning positions.
Yep. And now we do see entering the production tab that it's going to have some Vipers. That's a very good choice, especially as there are Thors and tanks out onto the field. And with good tank fire, roaches won't be able to get in and progress towards the mech army.
Yeah, and definitely a dart is also good for picking off siege tanks that are maybe a bit too far away from the anti-air controls and whatever else the Terran has placed down. Ooh, we see some barrel rooters actually taking out a siege tank. That's actually quite neat there. Gonna help him do, obviously any sort of reduction in the siege tank count is very good for a Zerg, because the less siege tanks you have to engage into when you finally decide, okay, it's time to break the Terran, the better. You're in a much better position the fewer siege tank you have. So like 4 roaches for a siege tank is actually okay, because you can produce them much faster. You will generally have a stronger economy as well. So it's not actually a too big deal for the Zerg to trade 4 roaches for a siege tank.
Yep, that is very true. And now we do see that there's actually an ultimate on the way for Silent, and he has a bunch of evolution chambers out on his creep to just try and create some Sim City, just to be annoying for the Hellions to get through. There are 5 Vipers out on the field already. They have full energy, probably because of that consume ability. It's a very cool ability where you suck out life from one of your own buildings to fill up energy on the Viper. Now the Viper has to get some good pulls, some good abducts, because if he gets the Thor, the roaches will probably be able to eat away at that very easily, as 1, he's ahead in upgrades, and 2, 1 Thor versus a ton of roaches isn't the best fight.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. And obviously he also has overload drops, so we might actually be seeing some sort of cool drop plane to the main or third. But his opponent does have a lot of siege tanks, or missile turrets, I'm sorry, up at his main, so that won't be too effective. But having drop also means you could maybe like send a couple of overloads further on and just drop 1 or 2 roaches to start the engagement, because that will force the initial shot from the siege tank to go onto those roaches instead of onto all of your roaches, and you definitely don't want them to hit all of your roaches. And we do see the barrel charge from the Zerg for his ultras, which is going to make them such a great engager unit versus this Terran mech army, which relies on doing a lot of damage to your opponent, heavy damage, probably one of the most damaging compositions, and especially so on HOTS with additions. Oh, we see a huge engagement. Oh, and looks like the Terran's actually gonna be cleaning up the Zerg army, but the Zerg very quickly remaxing with 11 specialists and 20 roaches, which is an insane amount of units.
Yep, that is very true. And we do see that strategy has a pure mule base over on the left side of the map. As there are a ton of roaches here. And going up and trying to look at that ton of roaches. Army is pushing into and tons of stuff is going down. All the roaches will be going down. The Vipers will be going down that binding cloud, I believe it's called. And it looks like Zerg is going to be pushing farther into silent spaces. He has 191 supply, but where is his army?
Yeah, and definitely that was a really huge engagement. It looks like that Silent is going to be able to push strategy back, strategy knowing you should not take a fight with the secondary Maxer, because that is not going to go your way. With Mech, you only want to engage when you are absolutely maxed, because that is when the Mech army is its most effective.
Yes, that is true. Right now, Silent going to push him on to strategy. He has prototype, but he's not going to be using it. Resulting with going straight into the tank and very quickly through the sword. Silent is going to get pinned up right there extremely easily.
Yeah, and you know, the fours do a lot of damage, and even though Silent's upgrades are very good, being on, I believe, 3 armor and 2 melee, means that he's going to be quite tanky, and also having gotten the chitinous plating, which does make his offers a lot beefier and a lot more difficult to take down for his opponent.
And just a little nifty thing is that 2 Ultralists are actually stuck at Silent's 4th base. They're trying to get out, but Spinecrawler's blocking it. Now the Spinecrawler moving and the Ultralists can get out. So Silent in a bit of a predicament here, as his Terran opponent is completely maxed on tanks, Thors, and Vikings. And his creep was once very spectacular, and it's now almost completely gone compared to what it used to be. And strategy going to be taking his 4th base now over in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and that's obviously a very big deal, because having those gold minerals, because this is not one of the tournament versions of the map, this is the ladder version where you do have the gold. That means that you are gonna get a lot of minerals from this, especially if you use mules to mine at it, which just gives you so many resources. And he's just gonna be able to just siege up here, have a very large siege tank line, and there's not really a lot his opponent can really do about it. He just kind of has to sit and max and wait until his opponent is out of position, deny him any further bases, take a lot of bases himself. There are 3 bases that have not yet been, well actually 4 that has not yet been taken. So, you know, that's a lot of potential stuff this Zerg player can do, and it looks like he's gonna sneak with some burrow roaches here. He's gonna go and lift a few of them up into, oh, he's just gonna engage. Oh, Siege Tank Fire is killing off a lot of the SCVs actually. That is not what you want your Siege Tank to be doing. It looks like Freddy once again into the army, but actually worker count is quite even. He didn't even get to take out the fort because of those SCVs deciding that they wanted to help out by repairing that orbital command.
Yep, and again, Silent just is in such an awkward position. His opponent, Stolf, has so many tanks out on the field, spread apart so well. He is and it might be able to stop the orbital command from dropping down a little bit longer.
You are absolutely right. He's not gonna really be able to engage into the siege tank line. He should know that by now. He is behind in the income tab. Well, actually not in the income tab, but his opponent has a huge bank. His opponent can just wait, clear up this creep whenever he wants with a few Hellions, and just make sure that he takes this game out into long phase, utilize the fact that he has a large bank, which is gonna make him able to be able to remax a lot more times than his opponents. If he can just keep his opponent away from taking too many extra bases, perhaps even taking a lot of them himself, he's going to be able to be in a good shape. And if he can get his economy back rolling, mine some more minerals, mine some more gas, he's going to be in a very good position because his opponent cannot really just engage and just try to kill his opponent.
Once again, pushing off the things of Silent, the Ultimate doing a good amount of damage, but the SCVs are there to help repair, and the Roach is going to be brutally murdered at once. And just strategy is 30 supply before 200, but it doesn't really matter. He has an 8,000 minerals, he has a 3,000 gas tank, and now he's going to be pushing on this basic on the bottom of the map here. All his tanks are just sieged up, so Silent really can't reinforce straight from the two hatcheries that are under attack. They're gonna have to try and sandwich from the back.
Yeah, and even there, the SCVs are there, so you can quickly go over and repair those siege tanks. So Silent, I think he just has to sort of abandon these bases, but he does have his what normally would be the third still lying completely unmined. Not even a single of the mineral fields have been touched, or the rest being geysers. So he has a quite big opportunity for income there, and I do not understand why he has not yet taken it. This would be a very good time to take that and just kickstart your economy again, get a higher income than your opponent, because right now strategy does not really have any income whatsoever. Well, she has, he took the other gold. But no, obviously a gold with that many SCPs and mules on it, mines out very quickly. It's gonna be very, very difficult for him. But I think he should just try and take some. The strategy is just try and take some of these bases over to the right. Just take those, siege up in the middle, and take a shipyard from the top expansions down to the bottom. Like the big open areas are not too big for a good precision siege tank army to be be able to defend most of it at least, and it would cause heavy casualties from Silent if he decided that he needs to break it. And I think strategy would actually be in a position right now that if he just said, okay, I'm just gonna push, I think he would actually win the game, because his opponent is a full almost 100 supply behind, and the only units he has are roaches and Zerglings, which is not what you want against a fully established mech army consisting of 25 siege tanks, 18 Hellions, 5 Thors, 8 Vikings, and so he has a very, very, very strong army. He's gonna be able to easily take out Silent's army. But if he just sits and waits for Silent to get remaxed, 10 infestors building out, that's a lot of infestors. That's gonna really help Silent. But I think it's very much so. I think the reason Silent is still in the game is because strategy is not decided, okay, I'm just gonna push to win. Even if he isn't successful, he's definitely gonna cripple Silent so much that Silent's not gonna be able to produce any more army, more than just a couple of roaches a minute. So if he'd just done that, I think he would have been able to take out Silent, remaxed, and completely killed him.
Yeah, that is completely true, and now we do see that Silent's actually at 183 supply. He's gotten some infestors as well, which are going to help a bit. And strategy, as you've said for the past little while, has basically had no income. He has a ton of orbital commands, but he's mining out bases extremely quickly. The base on the bottom has more than the required 24 workers, and now the middle base is mined out as well. But then again, strategy, he can just get a ton of Hellbats if he wants to, because they're basically only minerals to be made, and they're biological too, so any gas that he has can be put into medevacs, and that would be a little bit scary for into strategy, but cannot, as the Thors, the tanks are just too much for him to deal with right now. He really needs to take use of the other side of the hive deck. He has the Ultraless Cavern, but he hasn't really explored his options of Broodlords and Corruptors, as they would probably help a lot.
Yeah, because the Viking count of Silent is not, no, of strategy is not too high. Only 8 Vikings. So if he builds like 8 or 9 Corruptors and then 10 Brute Lords, he's gonna be able to definitely do a lot of damage to this Mega Army. Force it out of position. So maybe force him back into his original base area. Force him way back there. Retreat to the missile turret. Oh, we see a big engagement right now. So oh, it looks like actually Silent cleans it up using the infested Terrans to take all of this fire from Strategy Siege Tanks. This is really put Silent back in, and he's even gonna, I think he's gonna go down here to the bottom right goal. It looks like he's gonna clean that up as well. Wow, that is such a big deal. That puts Silent right back into this game.
Yeah, that is extremely true. Silent, with that big push and the infested Terrans, probably the biggest factor of this fight. Putting him into this game so much better right now. Strategy only has 15 SCVs now. He used to have about 40. And take a look at how many orbital commands does he have? He has 11 orbital commands, but a lot of them are totally lifted up into the air, so they can't even drop mules anyways. So
yeah, you're completely right, and it's gonna. He actually just let Silent get back in this game by letting him just max out and then take that very good engagement, using the infested Terran to soak up his tank damage.
It looks like he's going to be pulling Silent back to his own base, and there is a few benches out on him now. Strategy got a jungle and taking it on.
Yeah, and that's a really big deal, because now Strategy is again at a supply advantage. This game is very much a back and forward, and it's going to be very difficult for both of these players to win it. Strategy has the big bank, so I think what he should be looking for is to just try and kill Silent. Just constantly trade armies, utilize the fact that you have a way larger bank than him. You can even sort of engage not cost effectively because you have the big bang. So if you can just force him to be completely dead economically, you can get your last rally of units out and just destroy him. Because if he gets into a position where Silent is not remaxed but Strategy can, he's pretty much won the game, because the maxed out Terran mech army is gonna be pretty much any army whatsoever.
It looks like Strategy is going to be doing just that. All his tanks and Hellions are I guess, is Silent. Getting off all those drones out of the Hellions lines right now. The tanks just sitting out here, but more Hellion reinforcements out now. So it looks like Strategy is going to be doing what he needed all game long to find everything of Silent, because he really can. But as we do see, the bank is starting to wither away now, and Strategy has 14 workers, but no income whatsoever.
Yeah, and obviously he has the orbital commands. And right now he is mining with mules, so his game is pretty much lift off all the command centers and just wait until he, silence units away again, and just lift them back down and mine again. Strategy has the advantage, I would say, if he places out spy, but right now Silent is actually at a supply advantage. Strategy does not want to use too much of his bang, and right now he's reinforcing with just pretty much purely Hellions. And Hellions aren't that good versus Ultras, and his opponent has the Infestors, so he can do the trick with Infested Terran, putting them down right before an engagement again, which is gonna allow him to engage very cost effectively, and then obviously having the Ultras come in afterwards and clean up these siege tanks together with roaches.
Yep, that's a lot of drones. 70 workers killed by Strategy and 51 killed by Silent all game long. And this game is only halfway done, as this is a 2-hour long game.
Yeah, I don't see how this game can continue for that long in the situation we are right now. Pretty much very few bases left that aren't either completely mined out or pretty close.
Yeah, I think the only bases left that have any good amount of minerals on them would probably be the bottom left 2 bases, and then the top middle one. So if you go like trying to push into strategies, not only but not being able to, as there's just so many Hellions.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big point. The Hellions are very good when in large amount, and especially combined with siege tanks. And Strategy knows, because he doesn't see any sort of Spire units and hasn't seen all game long, so he probably can assume that that tech is not up. And he definitely knows his opponent does not have the money right now to build Brood Lords. So he can just make an army specifically for killing off roaches, Officers, and Infestors, because that's the only thing that his opponent has. And because all of these units are mech, he's gonna be able to just completely repair them with siege, with the SCVs after every engagement, and build more, constantly be maxed. And I think you should actually start building Banshees at this point, because the Infestors are pretty slow, and because Antigua Shiva is not a small map, so there's a lot of spots where he could just constantly go around, poke, get up a couple of drones. If he can force his opponent to build a bunch of Spore Crawlers, that's great for him, because Spore Crawlers, that cost minerals, and Silent definitely does not have too many minerals at this point in time.
Yeah, that is really now, as he has killed off all of the creep, the extractors, and the hatchery that was there, and Silence starting to wear even farther thin than he was before. And
wow, look at the income tab. Look at Strategy's income right now. What is happening? Where's that's coming from the bottom left? 6,000 mineral income.
This is crazy.
How do you get that? How is that even possible? That is insane. Wow. And this is the power of mules. Like, he does not actually need SCVs at this point. He only needs 5 to be able to rebuild structures and repair at any point in time. So he can just have a much larger army, because he does not need as many workers. But his opponent doesn't have too many workers either. He only has 12 drones total. So he's in a very bad spot economically, so he cannot right now take engagements. He has to wait for the perfect opportunity and just make sure that he just tries and stay as defensive as possible, because right now his opponent is at a very large advantage. He has the income, he has the army, he has pretty much everything in his favor.
Yeah, and with that 6,000 mineral income, he is now having his mineral bank right back to where it was from half an hour ago. And he has 16,000 minerals in the bank, so as soon as he loses any Hellions, or really anything, he can just make it right away. And now we do see that Strategy is going to be making some Banshees and some Medevacs now. And that'll help a lot. The Banshees, as you said earlier, will help just poke around, throw Silent off. And then the Medevacs are going to help so these Hellions can turn into Hellbats and then just be much more tankier and can actually fight on par with Roaches.
Yeah, and that's a very big thing. Hellbats make it so the Hellions are very good units at tanky, but also when the mech army is just sitting and he's not gonna be aggressive for now, I guess I can just make them into regular Hellions and go around and throw drones. So this actually extends the purpose of the Hellion very rarely in the late game, unless your opponent had a lot of was relying on links pretty much. You would rarely ever have Hellions, a lot of Hellions. You would have Force primarily as your big tanky guys, because they also do more damage. And we do actually see Raven upgrades at least in production for Strategy, which is really cool, because Raven's late game versus Zerg, especially the army that Silent has, which doesn't really have any anti-air much. He only has 6 Infestors, which obviously any sort of, like, if he's not completely, if he watches out and doesn't move them into the infestors, they can then fungal them to death. Ravens are going to be hugely effective.
Yeah. Now we do sound going to continue the base on the bottom left hand corner. That's a very ballsy move. And I don't even really, he's only doing that because he's just that desperate for money. He doesn't have the income that he would like to have. He does have infestors though, and spellcasting, especially at the 1 hour 15 mark, is what is going to help you win the game. Then again, he does have Raven Seeker Missile upgraded already.
Yeah, and that's a really big thing, because Seeker Missiles can do a lot of damage, especially if his opponent at any point decides to transition into air units, like stuff like Mutalisk. At this point, if he had an insane bank, if Silent had a lot of money, shifting to some sort of Mutalisk would actually be really good against this army comp, because Mutalisks are pretty good at fighting against Vikings, because a big mutable ball of about 20 takes out a quite surprisingly high amount of Vikings. So he'd be able to just kill off these siege tanks and run in with the roaches.
Yep. And now Silent actually is doing something very smart. All of the tanks are just sieged up, waiting for a Zerg to come in. Silent is moving up to them just enough with infestors, dropping down a few infested Terrans by tanks, and then the tanks are just killing off each other.
Yeah, and that's gonna help. Obviously, strategy does have SCVs that to repair, but since the infestors do regen energy, you can just do this pretty much forever, because just throwing down a few infested Terrans here and there, just being an annoying, really a nuisance to his opponent, that's gonna really help him a lot. And actually now, strategy does know about this this sneaky base down here, so he's gonna go over, and he's killed off pretty much all the drones of his opponent. His opponent has 6 drones. That is the insane amount of drones you start with. He is actually not mining, not even gas. He has to somehow just try and win with this army, so he just has to wait and wait and wait. And even then, I don't see what he can really do. He would have to get a perfect engagement or kill off all of the SCVs or something of those lines, but as long as Strategist sits here with his army, with his huge bank, he wins. At some point, Silent will either have to go to the bathroom and get very desperate, or he's just like, he obviously doesn't have infinite time to invest, but right now, both players just want to sit. Strategy wants to sit because he has a better economy, and Silent wants to sit because he'll lose if he engages right now.
Yeah. Base right now with just a handful of Hellions. So Silent in such that battle position, Hellions are going to be killing off his high spawning pool, multiple hatches, multiple extractors, and a Baneling nest. And Silent is just sitting over on the bottom right area of the map with a ton of roaches and a few Ultralisks. Now, Silent does have burrow charge ability. That's something I think he should probably experiment more for his next engagement, because, well, burrow charge is meant to break up such clumped up armies like this, and he's not using it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's probably what's been bad for him the first couple of times he engaged the armies. I did not see him use the burrow charge ability, and as you said, strategy is cleaning up these top bases. So strategy is actually going to be able to, if he moves more forward into the middle, into like the area from the one main to the other main, like the bottom right main to the top right main, you could sort of draw a line across and just sit there with the siege tanks and force Stein to only be on these 3 mined out bases with no production, no tech there. Actually, I don't believe Silent he only has a spawning pool of drones. He can only build drones, overlords, and circlings right now, while Silent has the entire tech tree at his availability.
Yeah, and if you head to the structures tab, you can even see just that, just the difference in how far apart all the bars are.
Yeah, that is a big advantage right there. He has a huge tech advantage. His economy, actually none of them players them. Well, Silent is mining a bit down here from the bottom left base, but strategy doesn't really. Oh, and using a secret missile, is he gonna? Oh, he gets a few drones there. That's actually huge. At this point in time, killing economy is actually a really big deal. I'm surprised that we haven't seen strategy doing more Hellion run-bys just to try and completely kill off Silent's economy, because Silent is not sitting on a good economy right now.
Yeah, I agree completely with that, especially since he has such a large bank compared to his opponent. He can afford to throw away so many Hellions.
Yeah, and I don't like, even already at this point, I don't see Silent being able to win this game. I think this is an absolutely dreadful scenario to be in for the Zerg player. He's not on the same supply, he's on low supply, he has no economy whatsoever. We're gonna see the Hellion run by here from Strategy. Is he gonna be able to pick up all the drones? I do believe he might. There's one drone remaining. There is one drone remaining. Okay, but Silent is building 9 drones, but only having 10 drones is still a very, very bad situation. Obviously, Strategy does have mules at its availability, but right now there's really no place to mine for him. Almost every base is mined out, at least every base that he can comfortably access.
Yeah, that is true. Just if you take a look on the minimap or just flipping through all of the possible expansions, that, at least from the start of the game, there is basically no minerals left on this map. And this is just taking so long. And Strategy just seems to be comfortable sitting with his army at the middle of the map. And
yeah, he almost even seems scared to push out, because even if he loses his first army, he's gonna win it, because he can remax a couple more times, I would say, at least. Or at least like 1.5 more times, which is definitely enough, because Silent can remax absolutely 0 times with his army. So he would be fighting a much lower supply army the second time and would be able to take the game if he pushed out now. But obviously he does not have the information that we have. He does not know that Silent also has an enormous bank, because all he sees is this scarily big army running around everywhere.
yeah. And Silent going to be throwing all of his units as those 2 Banshees are going to be falling down, and Strategy finally going to be pushing out, and it's going to be probably the final engagement for the game. Silent going to be actually running through the front lines a bit, but now it seems a lot of those orcs are going to be dying out.
Yeah, and you know, again, Strategy is able to build more siege tanks, more Hellions, and everything, while Silent is not. So if you can, even though that, like, supply-wise, well, actually supply-wise, even that engagement was okay. It was pretty even in supplies once the engagement was over. So if he could just keep taking, like, not losing his entire army, like, every time to 5 roaches or something ridiculous like that, he would be in a good spot. He would be able to remax. You can always see he's almost remaxed, and he would be able to at least build like almost 50 Hellions after the next engagement. So, you know, he's in a very, very good spot. He should feel very comfortable about engaging again if he knew that his opponent was so broken economically.
Ready to roll out.
Yeah, that is true. Silent still just thinking that maybe if I get that one perfect engagement, I can win this. We do see that he's finally got the money to make a new infestation pit. Strategy going to be taking the expansion over on the left side, right above one of Silent's bases, actually. And a ton of mules going to be dropped down there. And immediately, all of the mineral patches are going to just disappear.
He should just, I think he should just stop mana muling at this point, because he can't really mine anyway. He should just scan and throw down a bunch of mules just for fun. I think that would be very mannered.
Yeah, like really, even if it does seem like putting down mules after scanning would be bad mannered, it really isn't. He has 6,000 minerals versus his opponent's 200. He strategy has the larger army, has the better army, and even has a sustainable supply lead of 192 to 168.
Yeah, that is a huge deal. And I think he obviously doesn't actually have the gas to go into very gas heavy units such as maybe even I think battle cruisers might actually be a very good, just a couple of them, because that's really all he can afford gas wise right now. But just a couple of battle cruisers really would be a very great addition to this army. I think that would put him in a pretty good spot, because he would be able to produce, you know, battle cruisers. Obviously roaches can't shoot up, and all ultras can't. And his opponent only has 4 infestors, and obviously fungals, he would not have enough fungals to kill the battle cruisers up, but the infested Terrans would get killed so fast.
Yeah, that is true. And Silent now has to spend his money ton of overlords now, as he is basically half of his supply block, I guess is the right word, where he can only afford to make 106 while he currently has 180. So Silent extremely supply blocked, and now strategy going to be moving towards the bottom left area of the map, and he's looking to take Silent out now. Oh, look at this, Silent actually doing a counterattack while strategy taking forward, so it looks like it's base race time, everybody. Silent actually doing a pretty good job, as there's basically all those matches. Oh, look at this strategy, but he's lifting whatever he can, and I think this might actually be it for Silent. Even if he does slow down the second turn, these orbital commands can go and run and hide and just stay wherever they like, and they're probably not going to be dying anytime soon. And we do see that strategy is doing a pretty good job moving a bit slowly, actually. And both players supply block now. Benches are actually will abandon. No, all the benches won't be able to get out of the force in time. Strategy going to be moving across the map now, just trying to look for everything of Silent. And
yeah, and you know, this obviously in any sort of base trade scenario, the Terran has a quite big advantage because he can just lift around his army, but the supply of the armies are actually very similar. But you know, Silent does not even have a single infestor or any. Well, he has 3 infestors, but infestors can't fly, which is his problem right now. So he will not, like, if strategy just puts out these orbital commands into all corners of the map, or just, you know, pretty much sees yourself in the middle and just gets like his factories down and starts producing, you know, he can just slowly utilize the fact that he does still have a much bigger bank.
Yeah, and Silent does have enough to make 1 more hatchery, but even if he does, he does not have the army to be able to defend that hatchery forever and ever. So strategy, he even has the 2 bases, the 2 banshees. The 2 banshees, they're going to be able to fly around 5 times the entire army of Silence and kill whatever's left.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really scary. Or is he gonna? He's actually gonna be able to maybe take out these banshees. Wow, is he gonna be able? Looks like no, it's not. They barely survive. Wow, that was close. That's actually a pretty big thing because infestors take a lot of time to regen, and Silent's gonna, or strategy is pretty much gonna be able to pick up almost all of the buildings by then.
Yeah, and there's currently only 1 base left for Silent. Well, now another one is in production here, as Silent again did have the 300 minerals he needed if he wanted to make another hatchery, but he won't really be able to defend this, as his army would have to go past Strategy's army to defend it.
Yeah, and you know, so if Strategy sees it, he's gonna. I think what you do is just put down a couple of the commanders and just scan every base and check out the where the Silent still have bases.
Yep. Let's see. Silent knows where all the buildings of his opponent are. And has Silent been revealed yet? No, he has not. He has no idea of this hatch tree.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna just be a question of time before Strategy finds out where Silent's base is. But right now, Silent actually has a bigger army. And that could be pretty interesting if he catches him unsieged and unprepared for an engagement. Looks like, Silent is very indecisive about engaging him. Oh, is he gonna be able to take out this army? His strategy is dropping so quickly in supply. Silent actually has a 40 supply lead now. Wow. That is huge. Oh, it looks like he's gonna be able to take out the army.
Using this Pearl play so well, and it looks like almost everything's going away. The Ultimate's just trying to kill everything that we can. All the stores are gone.
And Silent still has a base, and there's minerals enough there to be able to mine to take another base. And he does have lava, and he can build the drones.
Yeah.
I think Silent just won?
I'm
Did he
not
just win?
sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess he did. Well, his strategy just lands and builds a lot of aliens. I don't know.
And now Strategy gonna be pulling all of his buildings over and towards the bottom area. And Strategy does have 2 lowered supply depots. I'm not sure if in HOTS they added that mechanic where if you have no buildings on the ground, you lose. I remember hearing something about that, but I'm not sure if it's in here. Silent's gonna try dropping down as many infested Terrans as he can.
Yeah, and I think Strategy might have lost this game. If he lowers his stuff now and starts building, he's gonna probably win. But Silent can build mutas because there are other expansions where there's enough gas that he can get at least like 5 mutas out. If he sort of SimCities this and only takes those where there's actually a decent amount of minerals left. There are some minerals left down in the bottom left. There's a little bit. That would actually be worth it because that would be more than the cost of hatchery. So I think if he plays it out smartly, doesn't waste too many resources on building stuff, he should win. And it looks like who's won is my question here. I would say Silent because he can actually mine. But the question is if there's even enough gas and minerals on the map for him to do it. I think there would be enough. I do believe there would be enough. You can just long distance mine, and because there's no army for Strategy. Strategy does not have an army.
Yeah.
And that's not a place where he can land where there are minerals.
Yeah,
and you know,
Silent's now getting his lair as well, so he's getting just even more closer towards that that Mutalist tech. Silent saying Husky StarCraft would love to watch this game. Well, Husky's not watching it, I am, and so is Mads, but it's good enough.
yeah. It's a caster.
Yeah.
And Strategy is landing down and building some Hellions. He's actually just standing for Widow Mines. That might be interesting because there's no detection of a Silent. Both of these players are being very sneaky now. Both of them know just the slightest mistake from their opponent will be enough to get them killed. And you know, both players can potentially lose this game, but if Silent doesn't make any mistakes, I think he has it in the bag. I think if he does not make mistakes, he has won this game.
Oh, and Silent has just found the factory. He sees the Widow Mine, and the Widow Mine is dropped. He's going to drop. His roach is out of range of the Widow Mine. This is so perfect, and now the factory's going to have to lift off. And there aren't any SCVs, so it's just going to burn to death.
But there is an Overseer, in fact. Wow.
But the Widow Mine almost killing it, and the Widow Mine first one will go down.
Oh, but the Widow Mine kills this roach, and now he has to send an entirely new one over. by then the Widow Mine will have respawned. This is interesting. But the factory is going to be burned down. But he does have other factories. But he has roaches covering most of them, I believe. I believe almost all of them are covered. No, there are two factories up in the top that he does not know about. Oh, and he burns the Widow Mine and kills off the Overseer, killing all remaining detectors. But obviously there's still fungals. But he needs to know the exact location of the Widow Mine in order to be able to fungal them to get invision. Oh, he uses infested Terrans. You can obviously do that. And he's gonna know it. And he's gonna be able to. Oh, that's actually genius. I think that's actually really cool. But there are Widow Mines. Are they gonna? Oh, they get the infestors. He gets two. There's only one infestor left. This is a very, very weird game. But we do not. Do we have a spire up yet? No, Cyan does not have the gas to build a spire, but he's built an extractor, so he's long distance mining from an extractor, which is very interesting, to say the least. And he's going to be able to actually be able to build one muta, which is all he needs, really. If he can clear out the Widow Mines, if he can make sure he's not getting killed by Widow Mines with that muta, he's going to be able to win.
Yeah, and especially since mutas have that little bit of AoE where they don't just hit one thing, it'll help a lot in getting rid of them, since it'll just bounce around to two other Widow Mines. But the Widow Mine production is just keeping on going, and now Hellions also being produced as well, so Zerglings won't be an option. Oh,
yeah,
there's an Ultralisk out.
Yeah, this is very, very, very weird game. I think he's gonna use infested Terrans to soak up all the Widow Mine damage, or Changelings. No, Changelings actually do not. No, he just kills it with Hellions. Oh, and he's gonna be able to clean out. If he cleans out these Widow Mines and straight to lead, it's a GG and Silent wins.
Silent
but
won.
I don't believe Silent necessarily had won that game. Well, actually, all the Widow Mines were not able to do anything, but he still had a factory down to the right side, no, right here, and you know, he still had overlords, he still had a huge bank, and his opponent did not even have mutas out yet. I think Silent definitely had the advantage, but I think Strategy could have taken it potentially.
Yeah, Strategy probably could have. That was still a very awesome game though, especially as how it looked like Silence was ahead, and then it went to Strategy, and then it just kept going back and forth until Strategy looked like he could have won. But Silent, with that amazing burrow play, just took it out of his hands.
Yeah, you know, it was very much a game. I think there was almost an hour where Strategy had the game. If he had just engaged a lot, I think he could have won it at that point in time. But then slowly, when both of them pretty much ran out of stuff to mine, it turned into an even situation, and Silent used his burrow, as you said, so well. Really, really forcing Strategy to Strategy, I think, just not have gone with unsiege siege tanks. I think you should have been like, okay, I've killed a bit of the army, he's in a much worse economical state than me, it's time to siege up, rebuild the army, and then go for stuff like that again.
Yeah. But whatever. It was still an epic 2-hour long game. Well, really 1 hour long if you're watching it from this video. Mads, where can our viewers find you normally?
Well, normally you'd be able to find me at youtube.com/x2crazygamersxx. That is my YouTube channel where I try to post as many VODs as possible. And you know, that's pretty much the best place to keep up with what I'm doing.
Alright. I'll put a link for it in the description below. Let's see. Okay. So do you have any sort of closing message for the viewers, Mads?
Well, I'd like to say thank you for letting me come on. It was an awesome game, and you know, thanks for watching as well. You know, hope you enjoyed it.
Alright. So thank you for being here, and viewers of NozzGamingChannel, if you would like to send in your own replay, just send it in to MasterDalK@gmail.com. It's master without the E, because someone stole that email address from me.
Damn.
Yeah.
those thieves.
Yeah. Also, follow me on Twitter at MasterDalK, and that's basically it. So have a good day, viewers of YouTube.